Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Podcaster's Playbook. Now, this is going to be a slightly different episode because our good friend Adrian Choo decided to put me in the hot seat instead of me asking him his secrets. So, I'm sharing my insights with you on this episode of the Podcaster's Playbook. Thank you so much, Adrian, for doing a reverse interview with me, and I appreciate you grilling me and getting the secrets out there so I can share this with our audience. All right, everybody, please enjoy.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome once again to another fun episode of Career Success with Adrian and Yen. Yen today is out on duty with one of our key clients. She's coaching them quite extensively all day long. So here I am pulling solo duty. But today I'm not doing it alone. I've got Edric Poon from the Epic Podcasting, and he's a very amazing podcaster for the simple fact that he has his background in public speaking, in all the emceeing stuff and everything. So he has all the skill sets that come with being a very good podcaster. And he has started, when did you start your podcast actually?
Man, I started in earlier than 2015 actually.
Oh wow, that's even before podcasting became like mainstream, right?
A thing, yeah. I mean, this was when Joe Rogan was still in his basement, right? Doing it with all the shitty cameras and everything.
Do you know who was the original podcasters?
Please tell me.
Wayne's World, remember?
Yes.
That was the original podcasting, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah.
They're both in their basement and just talking stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a wonderful thing. So podcasting is one of those mediums that I feel is the most authentic, most organic way of getting your message out there, because I'm a MediaCorp reject, right? I applied for many stations and they've all rejected me, right? It's
Okay.
like, and the feedback that I've always gotten is that, Edric, you don't have a personality.
Oh, that's so sad.
Okay, basically, I just didn't have...
No, I disagree. You
I
have
just
a
didn't have
personality.
that radio personality in
Okay.
that sense, of the way I conveyed things over the radio and all that. Is that Edric, you're more suited to be an announcer. Okay, so I got it. And over the years, I guess that kind of molded the voice in that sense of how hosting was good, voiceover was okay, and then eventually it started becoming a little bit more natural to get behind the mic and talk to people.
And that's why we wanted to talk to you today, because a large number of our clients now, they are saying that, hey, I want to start a podcast, And I say that, okay, fine, but a lot of things have to be in line, a lot of resources have to be in place. And that's why today we wanted to talk to Edric to ask him what exactly is required, what exactly is the game plan, the goal for starting your own podcast. So, Edric, first question. What got you into the podcast itself? Because you were saying earlier that it was kind of relatively new. Was it like a fun experiment? Or?
It was. I started listening to the Joe Rogan Experience, and you have all the other guys who started out very early at those days as well, and eventually it was just following comedy at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And then eventually it just became like, okay, look, there's a lot of depth in that, understanding that art form, understanding interviewing. And also I saw that huge difference between narratives as well. When you look at mainstream media and perhaps to an extent how sanitized it can be.
Yeah,
it's the only media, right, where you can actually smell Dettol. It's so sanitized.
Yes.
Right? And I didn't like that. So once so-called truths or personal truths or anecdotal evidence, whatever you want to call it, it may not be great. It's entertaining as hell, but you get to discern what's real and what's not anymore. You get to hear alternate perspectives, which I really could appreciate. So back to the question of why I started. Again, it's purely because I wanted to be on radio so badly.
So
the point where I just created my
right?
own show. And I was just thinking, okay, what can I do to just do it? And again, it wasn't for money. It wasn't because, I want to be famous. It wasn't that kind of thing. It was just I wanted to do it. And eventually that evolved into learning how to seek for sponsorships, and it was just a simple idea of getting people together, talking about what's on the news and getting a real hot take on these things.
Okay.
But it was quite salacious at the beginning,
Oh yeah, it always is because
that's what you know,
yeah,
right?
that sells,
how
right?
it all began was a couple of beers, a couple of friends sitting down and just talking. And we did like 2-3 hour sessions at a time, right? Then through that process, I started to understand, oh my gosh, how come we're rambling so much? Where is this going? And then started sharpening the saw, just sharpening and sharpening to the point whereby there's this thing called pre-production, there's this thing called scripting.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and that is probably where you're going to.
So that's where the challenge lies now. So, okay, but before we go there, the question is, what benefit would a mid-career executive who's maybe thinking of either advancing his career in a particular field, in enhancing his reputation, why should he start a podcast?
Okay, very simple thing. Now, everybody needs to invest in their own personal branding. We can write, we can write, not all of us can write well. Not all of us is going to be
With
picked up.
ChatGPT, everyone can write well now.
Correct, but you also understand AI slop.
Yes.
So does AI replace your personality, your personal brand? No, it can't. It can guide you, but I don't think it can replace you. What's important here is that every time you put content out there, you are investing or creating your own digital real estate. Okay, because why? Searchability is there, discoverability is there. Now, if you understood how important it is to keep creating content and that consistency, it becomes scary because you're thinking, oh my God, the most successful YouTubers out there, the most successful creators out there post at least 3 times a week, right? On any platform, a minimum of 3 times a week, right? So how do I do that? I can't. So what can you do? That's why I think podcasting is wonderful, because you get to sit down for 30 to 40 minutes, preferably with somebody who can help you get all of that out. And once that gets out, you do content repurposing. You chop them into little bits, and that fills up your entire content calendar.
That's true. That's true. And I guess you're right what you just said about building your brand and your reputation out there in the market, because especially if your content centers around your area of expertise, it really cements yourself as the expert in that space, right? But is it difficult to start? I mean, I'm imagining you got to buy equipment, you got to buy the cameras, you got to learn how to use Filmora, all your Adobe Premiere and stuff. It's complicated. Or do you just use CapCut and go like TikTok all the way?
You could if you wanted to. I mean, look, if they could do micro dramas, of 1 minute all the time, I don't see why you couldn't do that. It's all up to your creativity. But this is my mantra to all of my clients, which is I'll help you the podcast on any budget. But caveat is that if your budget is $1, I'll just tell you how to do it. Okay?
Then you'll get the $1 one, which is just on your phone now.
Correct. I'll tell you how to do it. I won't even record it for you, because that's the truth, right? But fact is, okay, so jokes aside, we understand what all that means. Now, truth is, our phones are already very good recording. You can actually use your phone, but there are technical challenges, and if you'd like to talk about those things, I could. But if you ever wanted to start your podcast, feel free to just use your phone. You have a laptop, preferably with a good webcam, but ideally, please use a proper microphone. The first thing I would tell you is invest in a decent USB microphone if you can, right? If you really want to start doing a solo one and you start recording online, platforms are a lot better than they were before.
Actually,
Last time we only had Zoom, right? And it was 540 or 540p. It wasn't even 720. And now everybody is expecting 720 to 1080p, which is full HD. So that's perfectly fine. Cameras now, webcams can give you 4K.
In fact, I'm seeing Apple iPhones and Samsung phones going 4K straight away, right? So it's
absolutely,
and it's good.
You can always tether it off your phone to use that as a camera, or even record directly on your phone. Now, the question I think is in terms of effort. How much effort and time are you going to put in? That's the tricky part.
That's the question I was going to ask you, because from my experience, for a 3-minute video, you spend like half a day on it.
If you wanted to do something along those lines, there are several different hacks you can take, right? One of them is if you want to learn it the long route, you just have to kind of just use CapCut and do it. Because if it's short, go ahead, use CapCut. Quite easy, or Filmora, or whatever you want to use. There are many free softwares out there. I've even seen people using Instagram to even cut it.
Oh, wow, okay.
Now, within the phone in itself. So it can be done. If you don't mind it being a little choppier, a little simpler, okay, go ahead. There are also text-based editors, which are quite useful, like Descript.
Oh, okay.
So it's $30 a month or something like that. And you plunk in your file, the entire transcript comes out. You can even use the AI tool to just cut it for you.
That's amazing.
And
I've
that's
seen
amazing.
Descript,
So every month, if you're only doing one, you can just use Descript to cut maybe 2 or 3 episodes for you. And all.
Okay, so for an utter beginner, I can imagine that if you're going to learn it from scratch, it's going to be tough, right? How do you help these guys?
I would actually handhold them all the way through, meaning to say that I teach them first, and first off, I have to get or help them to understand what is your end game. What do you want to get out of this? Are you trying to entertain? Are you trying to inform? What is your message? And you got to stick to that for a certain amount of time for that to get traction, right?
How many episodes do I need to put out before I get traction and before I start getting money rolling in and I become a Joe Rogan and I get $100 million sponsorship.
Okay,
from...
don't think about that. That's all I can tell you because podcasting is such a long game. You know this, right? Over 70% of podcasters don't even make it past episode 8. The rest of them don't even make it past episode 25 to 30, right? If you have passed that level of 30 episodes or more, you're in the top 10% of podcasters in the world.
Wow.
So truth is consistency pays. Getting it out there is important, but I would say that for the first timers, right, don't worry about all that. Do it because you enjoy it.
Okay.
And I think there was an episode of podcast by Alex Hormozy who was saying that if we want to do the things that we love to do, and if you love podcasting that much, that's actually only 5 to 10% of it that you truly love. The rest of the 90 to 95% is the trash that you don't enjoy, but that 5 to 10% is worth it.
Yeah.
So you just got to put in the effort.
Okay. And cost-wise?
Again, if you want to make it easy, use AI, right, and do that. So that's $30 a month to do that.
That's for the description.
Just
That's
for the
post-production,
Post-production.
Right? But I mean, in terms of equipment, like what you're saying, so invest in a decent cam, a decent mic. That's going to be about a budget of $300. Is that even good enough?
Easily. And as a matter of fact, you don't even need any of that.
Really?
Use your phone. I'm telling you, your phones are good enough.
The phone audio sucks.
Well, then if that's the case, right, get yourself a simple lapel mic. Those
okay.
Bluetooth enabled ones.
Yeah.
If you want to invest in audio quality and you already have your phone as a camera, you can find those $30 ones which are cheap. It sounds a little hollow, right? But if you'd like to up your game a little bit more, get the Rode, the nice Rode ones, the Hollyland ones, or the DJI ones. Those are really good because there's a lot of technology that goes in there that makes you sound great.
Yeah. And you have online AI solutions like Adobe Podcast, which cleans up the audio to studio quality as well, right? So
Correct.
nice.
As a matter of fact, if you buy the more expensive microphones, it's already on board. The finished product already has the noise cancelling, has the isolation and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the biggest misconception to people who want to start their podcast channel?
Who's going to listen to me?
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing because that's the one that you've closed the door on yourself already, which is the worst thing that you could do, right? You haven't even put on your shoes yet and you say, I don't want to run. You're like, come on, man, your shoes are right there. Put them on and just go out there, right? But the point, I think the point is to get started, that's the important thing, regardless of anything else. Because let's put it this way, there are people in your circle who will listen to you. It's you who are stopping yourself from actually putting it out there.
Okay. So I guess it's knowing your market and knowing your objective, what you want, right? Like what you're saying, it's incredibly hard to monetize. For reason A, I guess, is because it's going to be a function of how many people you actually have as in your audience, whether they're going to buy, whether they're the right audience who want to buy that particular product if you're looking for sponsorship. And in terms of whether people are actually going to subscribe to your channel and pay money for it, it's a different story altogether, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
But as a matter of fact, right, if you can amass 200 to 300 subs, right, or get 200 to 300 downloads per episode already, you're already ready to start asking for money.
Serious?
I'm serious.
Damn, where have I been all the while, man?
So the thing is, because we keep having this kind of a ceiling for ourselves and we think it's not possible.
Yeah.
But truth is, what you really need to do is get it out there, understand your market, and then don't be afraid to ask. If you can ask for $50, you can ask for 100. If you can ask for 100, you can ask for 150, so on and so forth. I think you get the message.
I guess a lot of people, mid-career folks who are thinking of starting their podcast, I guess they're not really thinking of it for money per se. I think you're right. It's more about the branding. It's fun as well to do, right? I like your advice, which you said, just get off your butt and just go and do it, right? Don't care. You dance like no one's looking, right? That's what you say, right? Just go and give it a shot. And I guess the discipline, like what you said, of getting it past even episode 8. For me, I've been doing this for a long time as well. So the editing and everything, I figured out and I learned it myself. It was a rough ride, but for someone who's just starting out, I think getting someone like yourself to handhold, like you said, I think that really matters a lot in terms of shortening the curve. Budget expensive hiring someone like yourself.
Okay, I don't think it's very expensive because professional editors are not cheap. What's easier actually is for you to learn and know what's good first before you start doing that. And I would recommend that either you work with me where I can coach you and guide you along the way and give you the right tips to speed up that process for you, or I can help you, point you in the right direction of who you can actually work with.
Okay, sounds good. Any final word of advice for someone who is starting out and he's really said, okay, I heard you, Adrian, I heard you, Edric. I'm going to get off my ass. I'm going to get it done. What's the piece of advice you would give them?
Just get started. Go and amass your equipment together, your phone, or at least whatever it is that you have as a camera, a microphone, and start writing down your ideas. And don't forget, use AI to also help you to generate 10, 20 topics and also reach out to about 50 of your top guests out there as well.
Okay.
So get that list and get on it.
You know what? You make it sound so much easier than it really is.
I'd like that to happen for everybody. It's not that easy, but we'll get there.
Last question. What makes a good podcast?
One that's true. Yeah, that's it. One that's you.
Okay.
I think that's the important thing because all of us have unique stories and that's where it works out.
Nice. So, well, guys, if you are planning to experiment in the world of podcasting, you want to start your own channel, you want to be the next Joe Rogan, feel free to reach out to Edric. How do they reach out to you?
Yeah, just look for me on LinkedIn, Edric Poon, EDRICPOON, or you can go over to my website, worldwideweb.kaleoscopic.com, KALEOSCOPIC.com. The podcast is called Edric Poon in Company, or the Epic Podcast.
Fantastic. Thanks, Edric, for your time and sharing your knowledge.
Thanks, Adrian. Thanks, everybody.
Glad to have you here. In the meantime, keep calm and career on.